All right. So this is TBC Abundant Life, and we're doing some objection handling today with the team here. Now, we're kind of just going to go through each individual. They're going to raise one objection, and then I'm going to basically handle that objection, speak about it, and then resolve and create understanding around whatever that misunderstanding was or that projection of fear or whatever the case may be. Create an understanding that way that conversation can move forward. So,
those example questions, those example objections that you posted.
yeah.
Can you like explain that a little bit more? Because I kind of want to understand how you do exchange it. Because there's no, is there even food? There's food setups, right? Or we haven't started that.
Do you want that to be your objection? We can run through that.
Yeah.
All right. So go ahead and ask me that, and then I'll respond to it.
How do you exchange TBCs for dollars, and how does that is that the real estimate of how much it's worth?
Yeah. So TBC is not a market-based currency. So it's not on the markets. It's not on any exchanges. So our intention there isn't necessarily to exchange it for dollars and cash out. Our actual intention is kind of to offer an alternative to the dollar. So actually take that currency and use it in the world, right? So we're spending based. We have 22,000 merchants that currently accept our currency. And since October of last year, that number was at 7,000 then. We're at 22,000 now. And that number is going to be growing massively as we're building out merchant relationships throughout this year. Okay. So we're spending based, what that really means is any merchant that accepts TBC and agrees to accept it at its current value, we partner with them, and they can sell their products to our community, and our community can buy those products from them for whatever percentage of TBC they're accepting. Now, about the value of TBC itself, the value listed on the site is the value of TBC. That value grows as membership grows. So the value of the currency is measured by the amount of individuals holding the currency, and we measure that in grains of gold. But that is the actual value. That value has been growing over time as we've increased in membership, and that value will continue to grow as we continue to increase in membership. Now, with that being said, we've actually had people seek to buy out large portions of the currency at its present value. They wanted to buy out a very large portion of the currency, kind of to have a corner on the market there. So we didn't really support that kind of a transaction, simply because, we're looking to address inequality, and allowing a transaction like that would actually cement inequality. So going back to your question of whether you can exchange it, there's nothing stopping you from exchanging US TBC for US dollars on a peer-to-peer level at its present value. However, if you discount the currency, basically you can get in trouble for that with our community and our commissioner of finance. We don't support discounting of the currency, so that's not something you would want to go out and do. Okay, but you can spend it at any place that accepts it. Does that answer your question there?
Yeah, that's pretty thorough explanation.
Cool. All right, so that's kind of how I would address the can you exchange TBC for dollars? How do I cash out for dollars? That kind of objection there. That's how I would handle that. Now, Gina, what is an objection that you have or you've been running into that you'd like to handle?
The option I would have is somebody would, okay, so you mentioned we can use it at merchants to buy things with, but how does that benefit me with my bills? Like, you can't take it. How am I going to go pay my rent, my mortgage, my utility bills, my phone bill?
Right. So, what you need to understand about what we're doing with this currency is right now we're in the distribution phase of the currency. Okay. So we are distributing the currency. Yes, we're building merchants simultaneously, but the main intention of what we're doing right now is to distribute the supply of the currency. As we do that, we'll be developing partnerships and connections with, manufacturers of goods and actual corporate utility companies and stuff. But that is a process, right? That's not going to happen overnight. It's not like you can take Bitcoin and pay for your bills directly with Bitcoin either, right? Unless you negotiated, for example, with your landlord or whomever, right? So, it's not like you can do that with most currencies anyway. The difference is you can cash out those currencies. However, TBC is spending based. So our intention is to create partnerships, create, connections with these companies, and eventually get to the point where they are accepting TBC and you will be able to pay your bills with TBC. But what is important to focus on right now is the distribution of the currency, not spending the currency. That will come. First, we need to create agreement around the currency, massive agreement, and reach mass adoption. Now, we are building merchants during that process, like I said, but that is not the main intention is not to be spending the currency right now. The main intention is to be distributing the currency. Then as we step into the economic phase of the currency itself, that's when we really start leveraging the power of our community that we've built in order to bring on a massive amount of merchants even more rapidly and at a higher level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Do you have any idea when that time frame might be that we'll be able to do those things?
Yeah, so our goals, the community goal is to end the distribution phase by the end of the year. Personally, I believe we can do that sooner than that. I believe we can end the distribution phase in the next few months here if we take the right approach and implement the structures that we're building and putting into place. So personally, my goal is to end the distribution phase much sooner than that. However, a 1 year time frame is very easily feasible with the structures we already had in place, but with the new things we're implementing into our community, such as small business partnerships and things like that, I think it's going to speed up our timeline dramatically. I can't hear you if you're talking.
I said, okay, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's how you have to handle that one. It's because, of course, everybody wants to just go out and spend it right away. But the reality of it is, can you get Bitcoin and go pay your bills with it? The answer to that is no, right? You know what I'm saying? You can't pay your bills with Bitcoin.
Have to
You can't pay your
convert it.
bill. Yeah, you have to convert it first, right? Um, but what we're doing right now is we're distributing the currency. Our intention is not to distribute and create consumers. Our actual intention is to create economic developers. That's why the admin talks about economic developers so often. It's because a lot of people come into this community and they just want to be a consumer. That's not what we want from you. We want you to turn yourself into an economic developer, and go out and be able to take that TBC and finance, economic development, right? Not go out and pay your bills, right? Because if your intention is just to go out and pay your bills, you're not really picking up on everything we're putting down. Now, if you need money to pay your bills, well, we offer Bitcoin bounties, right? Now you can go out, you can earn commissions through Bitcoin bounties and have all the finances you need to pay your bills and then some. That's perfectly available to you. That's why we offer that as well. But that is not our intention right now, is not to create consumers. It's to create economic developers. Consumers will come later on. So we need economic developers and we want 1 billion economic developers. So that's kind of what we're focusing on. That's kind of our intention there. All right. So, Nathaniel, I'm just kind of going in the order of my screen here. So Nathaniel, what is an objection that you have?
So one objection that I have probably would be, so I'm just gonna act like this is my second meeting, and then I'm gonna act like I'm a merchant. This is my second meeting, and then you showed me a presentation earlier, and I still have questions. So you showed me the total value of a TBC coin, and it was extremely overwhelming. And then you told me that certain individuals could only get up to 1 million TBC coins. So what I don't understand is, how is it even possible for one human to hold that amount of money worth like billions of dollars in TBC, and for multiple people to do that as well? Like when you compare the TBC to all the money that's in circulation, is that even possible? Like how would that work?
Okay. Just for clarification and understanding on your end, I probably wouldn't introduce those concepts that early in the conversation to a merchant. In general, that would probably be a later conversation down the line. I would
Well,
probably introduce that to them after they've locked down the brochure, after they've earned income from the brochure. Then I would talk to them about those kind of things. That way, there's already an established reality for them. However, just going off of what you were asking itself, so your basic question is that there is, how is it possible that this currency is valued the way it's valued at? How is it possible that there's this much supply of the currency? And how are we creating this many billionaires? So the reality of that is, first of all, we're operating on abundance. Okay. Now, the value of the dollar is regulated through inflation, deflation, and things like that. Okay. So that's one thing you have to understand. The amount of currency in supply, for example, the amount of total dollars in supply significantly exceeds the amount of total coins we have in supply. But we have taken an approach to measuring our value and controlling the value of our currency different from the dollar, right? So we're able to have a coin of high value due to how we measure it. We measure our currency based on agreement, okay? So we have millions of people already in agreement about the value of our currency, but we will have billions of people in agreement around the value of our currency. So, if we have that many people in agreement and saying this is what this currency is worth, and that's what they're willing to conduct trade with this currency at, merchants accepting it at that value, people spending it at that value, everything like that, that's real. That's as real as something being on the market saying this is what it's worth, right? If you actually understand the market there, the market is also operating on mutual agreement, but it's speculation based mutual agreement. So when people want the price to go up, that like when higher level individuals want the price to go up, they can influence the market to create agreement around a higher price. When they want that value to drop, they can influence the market to create agreement around a lower price. So there's a lot of speculative based manipulation there. But we don't structure our currency that way. We structure our currency on real value, on living human beings, and we just measure that in grains of gold. So the way we're able to have so many coins in supply, I mean, like I said, there's more dollars in supply than we have coins. Okay. We only have 1 billion coins in supply, right? There's significantly more dollars in supply than 1 billion, right? But our coin has high value, like I was mentioning. Now, with that being said, we're talking about creating 1 billion millionaires and 1 million billionaires, right? That's more money than the total GDP worldwide. But that's because for, I mean, we've created money. We've created a form of money, and this money has tradable value and will increase in its ability to be spendable worldwide. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we're saying we're structuring a private global economy. That global economy is going to look entirely different from the legacy system, legacy meaning the system that's been existing. It's going to look entirely different from the legacy system that you know. So the sooner you're able to wrap your mind around what we're doing here and how abundance operates on a different principle than scarcity-based economics, the better you can really connect to everything we're putting down. Does that help? Does that create understanding about your question there?
Yeah. So I should have probably asked more of a generic question, like you know, I don't see very many merchants offering payment. I mean, accepting payment as TBC. I only see like one or two. Like, why should I do this or whatever? I should have
In
probably
the
asked them.
in the US or in general?
Yeah, in the U.S., I only, like for example, like Houston, I only there was only like 3 places that accepted it, and one contractor that accepted it 10%.
So the reality of building a merchant base is an individual has to go out and build that population and create those connections. We have 22,000 merchants worldwide, but those merchants didn't come to us. we went to them. Eventually, merchants will be coming to us once our name is out there and what we're doing is well known. But initially, we went to them, we established them as merchants. So, all of our international locations that have a dense population of merchants, most of those merchants came from a single individual that just went out and, really networked and shared our opportunity with other merchants, right? A single team leader in our community. So in the Houston area, there's not a lot of development right now. That's just because nobody in our community has gone out and really developed that. But now you're speaking with me, right? And I'm coming to the Houston community and I'm putting in that work to develop the merchant base. So yeah, right now you might only see 2 or 3 merchants. But the reality of it is I've talked to several merchants today and many of them are interested. You're not the first merchant I spoke to today. Many other individuals are interested in becoming a merchant with TBC. And for breaking out of the drill here, when I'm speaking to somebody about becoming a merchant, it would be after they've joined United for Food as a partner and earn income. So they wouldn't have those kind of questions. And also at that point in time, the true answer to that would be, well, look, we have 15 other partners for United for Food in the Houston area, right? Now, all of them are going to be intent on becoming merchants as they learn more about the community. I can't really see. I don't know if you put an emoji or what that is, but I can't really see that. It shows up as like a blank box for me. But yeah, so the way you would speak about that is a little bit different because we're not bringing people in to be a merchant up front. We're offering them a United for Food partnership and then introducing the merchant aspect on the back end. After we've earned them, $10,000, $15,000, $30,000 on after we've earned them that amount on through United for Food partnerships, then we talk to them about being a merchant. So like how that conversation would look is, hey, Mr. Merchant, so I'm just coming in to follow up with you. We created the United for Food partnership with your business here about 3 months ago. And in that time, you've actually earned, $15,000 to $20,000 in commissions through the partnership agreement there. How do you feel about that? And I kind of get their feedback about that. And then I go into a conversation with them regarding so now that you've earned this amount of income from our community and we've established a trust-based relationship and we have a good rapport here, and I'm going to take care of the people that you send me and the community that we're building, right? I want to talk to you about you potentially becoming a TBC merchant, right? And accepting a portion of TBC in exchange for goods or services. If they say yes or if they say no, I'm going to say the same exact thing. What I'm going to say is, well, look, you're not the only business in Houston that's partnered with United for Food. We're actually partnered with 10 other businesses in Houston right now. And all of those businesses have also brought on 1,000+ people. So we have a community of 10,000 people in the Houston area that actually have TBC. Okay. Now you're selling, let's say you're selling bagels. Okay. You're selling bagels here, right? And, just for perspective, if you chose to accept TBC, a portion of TBC, in exchange for bagels here, the bagels that you are selling, the sandwiches, all that kind of stuff, you'd actually be on our merchant listing and all of those 10,000 people would see you on that merchant listing. Currently, you're the only bagel shop we're partnered with. So, they're going to be more likely to come to your bagel shop over any other bagel shop in the Houston area just because you're choosing to accept TBC. So that's really beneficial to you and your business there. And, I think that could be a really good thing for you. So, boom. That's kind of how I would do that and talk about that. So yeah, we're definitely not talking to a merchant about TBC up front. They're learning about that on the back end there. But even if they were questioning the way you were questioning, I would still address it in that kind of a way, saying, well, we're building, and all of that kind of stuff, the way I phrased it earlier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Cool. All right, Elijah, what's an objection that you have? I don't know if you're speaking or not. You're muted.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Well, the objection I had, you already answered earlier. You know, this shit, like, if I were to obtain TBC, like, how would I use it or whatever? Because I've gotten
No.
the objection a couple times.
Yeah. Yeah. So did what I say give you clarity about that objection and how to handle it?
Definitely.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So this is recorded, so you'll be able to review that. Are there any other objections you want to throw at me just to see how I respond to them? Hang on, you're muted again. I don't know if you're saying anything, bro. You're still muted.
I just got like a quick question. So far we have about 22,000, right? Is that
Yeah, 22,000 merchants.
is that throughout the world, throughout like the outside of
Yeah,
the United States? Or what?
nationally, yeah, internationally.
Internationally, and now we're working to get it more in America. Okay.
What was that last part?
And now we're working on getting more in America, like, and we're trying to work with bigger companies like Nike and that.
Well, we're working with small businesses to start with. We'll network with bigger companies once we have more leverage as a community. But mainly we're working with small businesses right now. You know, like bagel shops, coffee shops, dry cleaners, nail salons, hairdressers, you know, that kind of stuff.
Wouldn't we like need like some like marketing, like media or something? That's usually how people advertise, right? Isn't that we're not supposed to? Are we supposed to advertise, or we're supposed to just bring businesses and then work up to the top?
So we're leveraging what we're doing is we're leveraging the traffic that go in and out of a business. Businesses have tons of traffic that go in and out of them on a daily basis. So we're leveraging that as a marketing channel. Um, Now we are also running Facebook ads and building advertising campaigns as well. But this is just one aspect that we're dialing into right now.
So like, for example, like if so when the people that come into the merchants that we talk, they say they see the, I guess, the brochure, they end up signing up, or they go on a Zoom call, right? Or is it that because there's gonna be other salespeople, and we're just gonna be managing the sales guys, right?
Long term, yes, but initially, no. You'll be doing those calls yourself. You're muted.
All right, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, because that's what I was wondering. Like, yeah, I was wondering how would that look.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, you know, initially you'll be managing the calls yourself, but then as you scale and start building a community, an organization there, then you know you'll hire people to do the calls for you. All right. Mary Lou, do you have any objections? I know you've been around for a while, so
Well, I don't have any objection, but I will try this one because this is the commonly asked by people. Is TBC a scam?
yeah. Um, so yeah, when you want to say something is a scam, you know, it's important to understand what you're really asking, right? Are you saying, does TBC, can you spend TBC? Does TBC have value? Um, does TBC pay out commissions the way they say that they do? Has TBC done goodwill? And the answer to all of those questions is yes, you can spend TBC. TBC does have value. We have paid out commissions the way we say we do. And we also have done the goodwill we say we have done, right? All of that is yes. So when you're asking me, is TBC a scam? My question to you is, well, where's the scam and what makes it a scam?
That's right.
Yep,
Thank you.
because admin says the burden of proof is on the individual. So when somebody's going to accuse you of being a scam, it's their job to prove to you what makes what you're doing a scam. And if they're
Correct.
not able to prove that to you, then there's no way they can say, "Hey, you're a scam," because they have no actual validation of you being a scam. And we are able to spend TBC, right? TBC does have value. We've had people try to buy millions, if not billions of dollars of TBC at its present value, right? We've had that. So somebody who wants to say, "Oh, TBC doesn't have any value," well, there's billionaires that disagree with you, and those billionaires know things that you don't, right? So that's that. And then the reality of it is we've paid out over 9 million in commissions. Our commissions are solid. You can talk to any of our community leaders who have earned commissions and they can demonstrate that to you. Our commissions are documented. And we have documentation of the goodwill we're talking about. We've done goodwill. We have documentation of the entire event. It's not like we staged a film crew to go pretend that we were doing goodwill. No, we actually did goodwill, right? We actually went out and did that. So, with United for Food, we're going to be building these food centers. We're in the process of building our first ones right now, right? Everything we've talked about saying, hey, we're going to do this, we've done it. Okay. So where's the scam? There is no scam. And then that's kind of how you would address that.
That's right.
All right, Nathaniel, go ahead.
Right. So this is for like let's say a Christian church or whatnot.
Okay.
So
You're muted. Can't hear you.
sorry about that. So let's say I'm like the pastor or whatever. So apparently TBC has value and whatnot, but in my belief, not just as a pastor, but like as a Christian, in the Bible, God asks us to tithe some of our money before we're allowed to use it. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but so I see that TBC isn't readily available to spend in many places around the world. Like, how would somebody be able to tithe what they receive in TBC? Because I believe that even if I have a wallet with a lot of TBC, if I can't tithe it, then I can't use it. Really, how'd that work?
Well, so, that's fine if you have that belief, right? That's not a problem. All you'd have to do there is speak to your pastor of your church and talk to them about creating a TBC wallet so that you could tithe and send them your 10% or whatever you would like to do there, right? That's all that would take. So all they'd have to do is create a wallet with us. It's a very simple process, name, email, password, things like that, right? And then security verification there. Then they'll have a wallet and they can accept TBC and you can send them TBC. Now, of course, currently you're receiving a large amount of TBC. So for any transaction that's over $1,000, you do have to run it by our commissioner there, our commissioner of finance. So you would basically have to submit a commissioner ticket saying you're tithing to your church 10% of what you receive every single month or however often you're doing your tithe there. That way they can just approve that transaction for you and you don't run into any issues with our commissioner. That's just something we do to regulate illicit transactions and stuff like that. But you're submitting it for a tithe. That's perfectly okay. So all the pastor has to do there is create a wallet and accept the currency, and he'll have that. And he can put that towards the church's finances as what we're doing builds and we start building connections with local people here in town as we build more merchants in town here and everything like that. That'll be a really great thing for the church if they want to do food drives, clothing drives, whatever. They can partner with the small businesses, or they can approach the small businesses that we've partnered with and turn into merchants for TBC and spend that TBC with them in order to get the things that they're looking to get or the things that they need there. So, tithing is perfectly okay. There's nothing wrong with it at all. You just have to essentially talk to your pastor about that so that you can go ahead and do that there.
Cool. So basically, they'd have to like make a wallet and like pay the back office fee and whatnot.
You don't need to pay the back office fee in order to have a wallet. You can have a wallet for free.
Oh, cool. I
Yeah.
had no idea.
Yeah.
That's what. Can you explain that a bit more? I don't understand how that works really.
To create a wallet.
No, I mean like how you can have a wallet, but not like like um like an account with Kringle.cash.
Well, you can create a wallet through the Kringle.io site, and then you have a wallet with us, but then you don't have a back office account yet. So all that you'll need to do when you create your back office account is make sure that you use the same email that you created your wallet with, and then the two will link. But there's nothing saying you need to create a back office account in order to have a wallet. It's just that if you only create a wallet, for example, you won't get the free gift that we give in the back office account. You won't get that free gift or anything like that. And then you also won't have access to the back end website or any of that information as well. But like I said, there's nothing stopping you from creating a free a wallet there. I've had people create a wallet first and then a back office account later on. There's not a problem with it. Did you have any more questions about that, or was that good for you there?
That's good. Not at the moment. Thank you.
All right, cool. Elijah, you kind of jumped out, like you disconnected kind of when we were talking there. Did you have any other questions, or was that all you had there? Yeah.
No, that was all I had.
All right,
And yeah,
cool.
my internet kind of dropped out. So
Does anybody else have any questions right now or any objections? We'll keep building a comprehensive objection list. That way we have, basically I'm going to create a YouTube playlist of how to handle every specific type of objection you could imagine. Like we'll just create a list of maybe like 50 to 100 objections and then have a video on how to address each one. That way you have all of that information there and you'll know how to approach every single situation.
And then I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
What if we go to a merchant and the merchant says he doesn't mind putting the QR code?
Could you repeat the second half of that? I couldn't hear you.
What if you go to a merchant and the merchant doesn't mind if we set a QR code up for people to sign up, but they don't want to sign up and have to pay the $300 and whatnot, but they'll allow the QR code to be set up in their into their facility? Is that something that we would be allowed to do or not?
Yeah, it's perfectly fine. But how are you going to ensure that the merchant actually drives traffic to that QR code instead of just letting it there? So with that,
Right.
hey, Mr. Merchant, so I understand that you maybe don't want to partner with us right away, but what we can do is we can put my QR code here, and then you can have your cashier point attention to this QR code, and if we get a good amount of people from your business that scan this QR code and come into our presentations to learn about what we're doing there, and they sign up with us, I'll actually come back and I'll give you $1,000 just for doing that. Right now, you'll have the 300 you need to become a partner with us, and we can talk about what that would actually look like for your business, because you'd already have seen commissions coming to my end through that. That's kind of how I approach that.
Okay. My next question I have is the customers that do sign up through the QR code, are they paying the same amount to get in like everyone else, like I did, like $300 a year and the $30 a month, or is it different for them through the United for Food?
Same price.
Same price. Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
So is it like a subscription? They'll pay, like, let's say they pay monthly so that they can get access to distribution? the subsidy?
Yeah, so for the monthly, they'll get access to the food centers, and they'll also receive a monthly distribution of TBC, have access to our meetings, be able to receive a coin for attending the meetings, everything like that. You know, the same things they would normally have access to. In addition, they'll have access to the food centers.
So Newt, my next question is we who have signed up and have paid either our yearly or our monthly, are we as well eligible to go to the food centers if we needed to?
Yes, 100%.
Thought about that till now.
Yep, yeah, you're able to go to the food. Basically, if you gather 1,000 people in your town there and we build a food center there where you are in Kansas, you'll be able to go to that food center, buy $400 worth of food every single month, and spend 200 in cash and 200 in TBC for that food.
Cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So has anyone, like, I haven't heard the admin say anything about this. I guess probably we'll get into it later once we get closer to building. Like, how is it going to be determined, or what all will be in the food centers?
So it'll be based on demand. We're building an app where people will be able to request what food they want at a specific food center. They'll be able to like take a picture or scan a barcode or something like that.
Mhm.
Whatever's in highest demand is what we'll stock the center with.
So it could be totally different from city to city then.
Yes, yeah.
That's kind of cool. I think that's neat.
Yeah, so it's basically because different people in different areas eat different things, you know? So
Absolutely. Yes, they do.
in the South, they'll have their sweet tea, you know? I don't know what they drink.
That's diabetes, man.
Sweet tea, sweet tea solid. I love sweet tea.
Oh. That's funny.
Hello, everybody. I'm sorry, I'm just getting here. I just got my bus parked.
Hello, Lysandra. How are you?
Hi, Gina. I'm good, thank you. I'm sorry I missed this whole darn thing. Did you guys have a good meeting? Get a lot of good info?
We
Yeah,
did.
we
Yeah.
did some questions. It's all recorded, so you'll be able to watch it later on. But do you have a final objection for us that you'd like me to handle here? That way it's on the recording.
I don't know what all you guys put out there.
You
Um,
can look up, I'll tell you if we've done it already.
well, we've talked about a few things. Do you know if there's anything I'd mentioned that you guys haven't covered?
So we talked about, is TBC a scam? You know, we talked about that. We talked about for the merchant, hey, I'm the only merchant here, or there's not many merchants in town. Why would I join? Right? We talked about that. We talked about you know, how to approach a merchant in general, and the fact that we're approaching them with United for Food, and then talking about TBC on the back end. So I don't know. You can call something out, and then we'll see.
I did have one question you were just talking about. I thought I had heard or read somewhere that a certain group of people would be allowed to shop at the warehouses. Is there a limitation?
There's not a limitation as far as that. There's a limited supply of food. We're
Okay,
stocking the with
but there's
25.
no certain groups that's going to be, you know, left out of being able to shop there.
Nope. As long as they're in the billionaire program, they're paying 30 a month or 300 a year. They'll have access to the food center.
Okay, so what about the 15 per month people? What do they get?
They won't qualify for United for Food.
Okay,
Yep. So we're not really going to be offering that at all in the United for Food presentations. We're not going to be talking about that.
okay. Yeah, that wouldn't be a good idea. They
Yeah.
can't really benefit.
Yeah. And honestly, I just don't close anybody on the millionaire program because it's not in their best interest, you know? Like if $30 is really, I mean, it's like It's less than, if you're making minimum wage, it's less than a day's work, right? You know what I'm saying? 1 day of work. So coming up with $30 or something, pretty much, even if you have to go and like pull weeds for somebody in town, you can get $30, you know?
Yeah.
So it's not a big thing there. You know, if somebody is like, I legitimately can't come up with $30, my answer is you're just not trying. Like, I really go door to door in the neighborhoods in town and say, hey, can I clean up your garden for $10 or whatever? Can I clean up your yard for $10 and have plenty more than $30 at the end of a single day, you know? So if you
Right.
can't come up with dollars in a month, not trying, you're just not trying. That's really what that is there.
It's free Rideville. It's that's the free riders.
Yeah.
All right.
You're muted.
Driving and trying to keep a bride happy.
Uh,
I'm driving for a wedding today.
all right.
So,
So if we don't have any more questions right now, we'll
Just one really quick one.
go ahead.
So I saw a business card link on the Kringle.cash website. Is that
Yes.
for us to like distribute to people so they can join via our link, but like to introduce them as well, like in
So that card is that business card is different from the United for Food business cards. These are the United for Food business cards here. This is what they look like. So we're uploading this basically template to the website, so you'll be able to plug your information into this template here, and everything like that. The business cards you're talking about, those are a different design from the past. You can get those if you want to get those, but that's not what you would be giving. Yeah, the black ones that you're talking about, those aren't the ones that you'd be giving to United for Food merchants. Those are different.
So are they mostly for people to know about TBC?
Yeah, so the intention there is more so sharing information about TBC. You know, you can get those cards if you want to get them. I don't have any of them, but you can totally do that if you want to.
Cool. Like just print them out.
Yeah, yeah, or you can upload that document or that PDF file to like Kinko's or FedEx or something like that and get them professionally made. That way they're on a nice quality paper and everything like that. But yeah, so good meeting, guys. I think we got some basic objections out the way. We'll continue to develop on this and expand upon it as we go. Build a comprehensive list of objections. That way everybody's got an arsenal of responses and how to handle different things. So you can go, you know, you can go into battle armed to teeth, you know, armed to the teeth. Because we don't want you getting beat and busted up and coming home being like, damn, got my ass handed to me today. You know, you want to come home victorious. So yeah, we're just going to keep building the structures and processes. That way we have training, you know, going on for all of you. You can get trained up and go out and have success.